Hey, greetings, World Cultures students. This is Mrs. Nelson. As Mr. Barber and I head off to a new unit, we wanted to take some time and just give a brief overview of what is coming up. So, we're leaving Southwest Asia and the Middle East, and we are headed off to a unit called East Asia. And it's actually chapter 19 of our textbook, and I just want to preview the chapter here. Let's start with the question, what do you already know about China? So we're going to activate prior knowledge, an important step in scaffolding and in making connections as we build future knowledge. So when I think of China, I don't know what you think of, but right away I think of giant pandas. And during this pandemic time, this panda reminds us to keep on trucking and keep working out. He's adorable. I also think of the Great Wall of China, and you may think of that as part of your China knowledge as well. I also think about the movie Mulan and Mulan's heroic efforts in saving China. I think about the coronavirus, sometimes called the Wuhan coronavirus, and how that has spread across the globe. I think about China and its bordering countries. Whoops, let's get out of eraser mode. Mongolia, the Koreas, Japan, Taiwan, little Hong Kong, parts of Southeast Asia. So again, this unit is East Asia, and you can see China by far is the centerpiece of this unit. When you look at China's ranking as far as number of people, you will notice that China ranks number 1 in world population with close to 19% of the world's people residing in China. So again, they're number 1 in population. You may think of these vast numbers, swaths of people, 1.3 billion Chinese people. Maybe you picture them crowded together, riding bikes. Not sure what all images come to your mind. Just as a side note, India is ranked 2nd in world population, and here is the United States, ranked 3rd. But notice how small our percentage of the world is compared to places like China and India. China is also huge from a geographic perspective. You can see it dominates the map of East Asia. And when you think about other countries and their size, you can see that China here is ranked number 3 at 9.7 square kilometers, only behind Russia, which by far has the vastest area, and Canada in the number 2 slot. And again, just note the United States flows into that 4th slot there. So as we begin to explore this chapter, we're going to be looking at the physical geography of this region. China's rivers and plains are going to be hugely important. The unit will touch on Japan, Korea, and Mongolia as well, but we'll really focus on how China's history and geography has shaped China. So what influence, belief, and encounters helped shape China? We'll look at the early dynasties, Confucianism, Silk Roads and trade, some of the exploration and isolation factors, and of course the communist revolution under Mao. Then we'll branch off one more time. We'll look at some of the historical connections to Japan and Korea, and finally the Korean War. So those might be some things that you now know about China, or you may have known some other things. I'm thinking at some point in life you've probably eaten some Chinese food. So again, my students look for a post where I ask you to list some things you already know specifically about China as we head off to this East Asia region of the world. Enjoy, take care of yourselves, get some push-ups in as best you can, and good talking to you folks. Looking forward to a fun unit.